The second Exodus, explained like never before, is a prophetic dream given to a man in 2019 that has proven to be a source of comfort to a people afflicted, battered, and bruised from living among their enemies across the entire world. Forgive me if I share knowledge that you may not yet understand, though you will in due time. It's time to look forward to where we are going, because our warfare is accomplished and our iniquity is pardoned. In the spirit realm, our captivity has ended, and the Son of Righteousness has arisen with healing in his wings.
Everybody away from the windows! Nobody goes outside! Jesus, please help us. Please stop this. As the Son of God, please stop this.
That is the Son of God. Look.
Seek immediate shelter.
This is worse than they predicted.
The solar radiation is interacting differently with varying melanin levels.
How bad is it?
If exposure levels continue rising, the majority of the population without sufficient melanin adaptation may not survive prolonged exposure.
Did the president make it to the bunker yet?
Yes, sir. He's secure underground. But we need to make another call. These melanized people are starting to activate. It's only a matter of time before they realize who they are.
The name of this short movie is The Great Separation, and there is nothing more crucial to the bloodline of Jacob than our separation from all nations, as promised. However, nothing happens in the physical realm without first being established in the spiritual realm. And the Son arose with healing in his wings, when Melchizedek, the messenger of the covenant, entered our solar system at the appointed time, declaring the year of Jubilee. They call this interstellar chariot 3i Atlas, but its true name is the messenger, and it is transporting Melchizedek, the mysterious king-priest whom the corruptors of the word have hidden, so we would not know his end-time role as high priest, deliverer, and holy warrior. You can watch the video on this channel. His coming signaled the year of Jubilee, bringing forgiveness through atonement, the end of our captivity, and the restoration of our stolen inheritance, which is the promised land. But before we take possession, we must enter into the wilderness of the peoples, which I now call the Garden of the Peoples, because the Most High is bringing us to a place which he says is like the Garden of the Most High. But before we consider the wonders, the beauty, and the provision laid up for us in that special place, we must understand that not all of the seed of Jacob will enter the rest, and this is reflected in the dream. When the angel comes to Aunt Dell's house, there are 6 people in that house, but only 2 are taken. The first aunt said she was not going anywhere, a view held by foundational Black Americans and Hebrews who believe America is the promised land. These Hebrews, along with the aunt who said, "I know who he is," but stayed anyway, represents the remnant of the woman's seed, with whom the dragon returns to make war against as soon as Jacob has reached the garden. I also wondered why the angel shut the door and refused to take the uncle that said he was willing to go. Then I realized that he represented those who believed in the Most High, but were not in relationship with him. In the dream, the narrator says everyone was taken, but the word says something else. Daniel wrote that when Michael stands up, Jacob will be delivered. Every one that shall be found written in the book. This is not the book of life, but the book of remembrance mentioned in Malachi. Then those who feared the Most High spoke to one another, and he heard them. So, a book of remembrance was written before him, for those who fear him and meditate on his name. This is what the 2 men outside were doing, speaking to one another, looking for the Exodus, and having a good time in the Word. This is the most grievous aspect of the Exodus story, the fact that only a remnant will make it into the rest. Listen to this dream.
I believe I saw the second Exodus, and I saw it in a dream. And here's what I saw. I was standing almost in this big yard, like a courtyard. And inside of this courtyard, there was this big giant box, or it almost looked like I was digging inside of this big box. And I don't know why, but it looked as though like it was at the hood of a truck. And I'd opened up this hood. Inside of this hood, there were thousands and thousands of people. And I took my hands and I was taking the people out of this hood. And as I took the people out of the hood, I was placing these people, you know, on the ground or on this big field. And the people were, and the field was almost like a big, wide open space, yard, but huge. And as I continued to look, this presence came up behind me. And the presence asked me, "What are you looking at?" And as I began to say, something told me, "No, be quiet, don't say anything." But I'm looking, and I look to my right, and there's this big board. And there are many, many names on this board. And as I hear this voice telling me, or asking me, "What am I looking at?" I wouldn't say anything, because there was another voice saying, "Just be quiet." And then this voice came over and looked out the window as I was looking out to see what I was seeing. And this voice spoke to the people out there. And as he started to speak, the people looked up. And I looked back over at the board, and I started to see the board, the names on the board started to erase, started to disappear. And then I began to realize that this voice was taking the people back to where I had taken them out of. And I became afraid. And I thought to myself, well, maybe, you know, I'll say something too, because then I could go with them. And as I attempted to say something as well, another voice, a greater voice, said to me, "No, you can't do that, because that wouldn't be true. You can't say that, because then you will be lying." Then it got really quiet. And many of the people that were in that yard were gone. And I remember looking back at the board, but I still saw a few names on the board, but where the board was just full of information, almost like a mathematical equation board. And I noticed there was still some names. There were big gaps though now. Instead of being filled with just gaps, big open, clear gaps with nothing, but there were still some names there. And then I asked, you know, again, to this other voice, not the voice that was behind me, because I realized that this voice was from the darkness, from Hades. And I asked the greater voice, what is it that I had seen? And the greater voice said, "This is the judgment." And I'm like, "Well, what judgment?" He said, "This is the judgment of the Exodus."
And what is the judgment of the Exodus? We need look no further than Aunt Dell's house to see how, according to Zechariah, 2/3 will be cut off, but 1/3 will be left in it. This third will be tested and tried like silver and gold. This is confirmed in the Melchizedek document in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Melchizedek, the messenger of the covenant, shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Most High an offering in righteousness. And Ezekiel 36 informs us that the congregation will be cleansed from all their filth in the wilderness. The narrator saw Jacob being transported on cruise ships to the place of safety, and this is a popular belief among Hebrews, because Isaiah said the ships of Tarshish would bring Jacob from afar. But this will not be the only mode of transport. In Part 1, some commentators were offended by the presence of interstellar chariots, and I understand that people who make such comments have never been taught about the chariots piloted by our cosmic family. Our people working on plantations knew and called for them to carry them home. And the word says, "The Most High will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire." The chariots of the Most High, which the authorities referred to as drones, with angelic orbs and Ezekiel's wheel within a wheel, burst through the heavens in November 2024, and they remain above us. Perhaps this is why the next dream is interesting. This is his account.
I dreamt that as I lay on my bed sleeping, a member of our cosmic family appeared in my room and tapped me as I slept and said, "Wake up." I assumed he had come to take me in the Exodus, so I asked him if I should bring anything. And he said, "No, I don't know how." But I knew the chariot was above the house because I had seen them before appearing as clouds by day and stars by night. So, when the visitor appeared in my room, I was not alarmed. He seemed no different from my cousins in appearance. I stood next to him, and suddenly we were in this opulent room, but I could not describe it because my eyes were fixed on the woman who stood before me. She spoke with authority and said, "I have some things to show you."
As I watched what looked like a screen, I saw a huge mountain situated in a beautiful garden. And at the foot of the mount, there was a clear spring that is guarded by two fearful-looking sons of God. The woman said that this mountain is located in a secret place, and at the foot of that mountain is a spring, and no unclean or unrighteous person can approach to drink from that spring. But if one drinks from that spring 3 times, as long as they live, they will be as a person of 30 years old. Then she said, "Look," and I saw the ice wall at Antarctica, and I became convinced that we would be protected in a place beyond the wall where our adversaries cannot enter. In Revelation 12, once the woman had entered the place prepared by God, the dragon and his forces could not enter and were forced to turn back.
I am convinced that the Garden of the Peoples is beyond the wall, where there are territories we never knew existed. I knew there was a celestial equator, so I should have realized that there were terrestrial lands corresponding to the planets. I do not know which of these unknown lands we might be transported to, but that does not matter. What matters is that whatever is to a person's advantage in the Western Empire will be to their disadvantage in the garden. If you are infected by the Western norms of superiority, best to remain where you are, rather than seek to enter the rest. We say this because during the first Exodus, when Shelomith, daughter of Dibri of the tribe of Dan, had a son with an Egyptian man. Her son came out of Egypt with the nation, and a sense of superiority, and went among the people and got into a fight with an Israelite. During the fight, he blasphemed the name of God and cursed. He did this because the Egyptians considered the shepherd class inferior. He was taken into custody while Moses sought God's judgment, and God instructed that he be taken outside the camp and stoned by the congregation. What you and I should consider day and night, because the Exodus is nearer than we think, is that from the moment we enter the place prepared of God, never again will we suffer under racism, white supremacy. Our children will be taught by the Most High, and great shall be the peace of our children. In the wilderness there will be healing. The eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. He will make the wilderness as Eden, and the desert as the garden of the Most High. Never again will Jacob be subject to police brutality or death at the hands of the state. No CIA, Mossad, or MI6 will be operating there, and no wicked boule or African puppet can enter that place. No longer will the Hebrew mother and her child die in childbirth, and the fury that will be unleashed on the nations for shedding the blood of Jacob is too terrible to speak of. When the Most High is done, they will know that He has loved us, and when we emerge from the garden of the peoples, no nation on earth will be able to stand before us.
Seven more days. 7 I wonder. Hey, all I wanna want. 7 I wonder. Fighting every inch of the way. 7 I wonder. Trying to be tender. 7 I wonder. There's kissing